Welcome, everybody. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. This is Monday, March 28th, 2022. We are in conference room 225, and it is just past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Committee has 6 concurrent and 5 Senate resolutions to hear today. Prior to beginning with those resolutions, we have a couple of housekeeping announcements. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, March 30th in room 225. And a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. We note testifiers that there is a 2-minute limit, and so we ask you to comply with that. Okay, first resolution today is Senate Concurrent Resolution 72. This is establishing a sister state relationship between the state of Hawaii, United States of America, and the autonomous region of Madeira, Portugal. We do have, I believe, Ms. Dennis Ling from DBED.
Aloha, Chair, committee members.
Hello.
DBED stands on its written testimony in support of this concurrent resolution. Thank you very much, and I'll be available to answer any questions.
Okay, just for the members here, Dennis, the Sister State Commission, did they take it up?
Yes, the Sister State Committee met and they took this up and unanimously voted to proceed with sending their recommendation to the legislature as well as the governor for the Sister State Agreement.
Thank you, Dennis. We also have the Honorary Consulate of Portugal in Honolulu, Mr. Tyler Tosanto Sam. Your Honor.
Well, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Senator Kehokalole and Senator Chang for being here. I'm Tyler Tosanto Sam, the Honorary Consul of Portugal. Here in Hawaii, it's nice to be back in person here in the capital. In strong support of this resolution, it's making its way through the House as well. Last summer, I had the opportunity to go to Madeira, Portugal, which is where about half of the Portuguese immigrants that came to Hawaii came from 1878 to 1911. And there's still a lot of affinity in Madeira for all of the immigrants that left and went all over the world, including here. They brought the ukulele, they brought malasadas. There's a lot of other just cultural touchstones that we have here in the islands that come from Madeira. And so, I want to encourage the Senate to support this. And one note, we already do have a sister state relationship with the Azores, which is the other island group that belongs to Portugal, where the other half of the Portuguese immigrants came from. It's been fairly dormant for the past decade or so, and it's our hope that by having one with Madeira as well, we can start to build a relationship with the Azores. I was also there last summer and was able to meet with a number of folks. You saw in all the testimony, we have a number of government officials in Madeira, and cultural organizations and others in support. So we're hoping that that helps to make this a durable and lasting relationship. So thank you.
Thank you. That's all the testify. Why don't you state the title, just in case you have questions. Do you have questions from members? Tyler, do you have relatives from?
Not currently there, but we have a great genealogical society here in Hawaii that does all of the genealogy. When I was there, I had the chance to visit the church where my great grandparents got married, and where my great grandfather got baptized. They still have the same baptismal font that they use today. So that was kind of neat. And I hope that through this relationship, more people here in Hawaii who are of Portuguese ancestry can have that same experience.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Further questions? If not, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll proceed to Senate Concurrent Resolution 83 and Senate Resolution 75. This is requesting the Hawaii Council for the Humanities, State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, and the Hawaii State Library System to collaborate for the establishment of a Hawaii State Poet Laureate Program. Um, First, we have State Foundation on Culture and the Arts. Mr. Johnson.
Aloha, Chair Taniguchi, members of the committee. State Foundation stands on our testimony in support of SCR 83 establishing a State Poet Laureate Program. Thank you.
Thank you. Through Zoom, we have Liz Soto. Elizabeth Soto.
Aloha, mai kako. Thank
Aloha.
you so much for having me. I submitted written testimony, so I would just like to take this opportunity to add to my written testimony. One of the things that I mentioned was so I worked for many years with Youth Speaks Hawaii and Pacific Tongues, which were spoken word organizations that worked with youth ages 13 to 19. And many of the youth that I had the privilege of working with were identified as high risk in traditional educational settings. And so many of them were absolutely extraordinary. They used poetry as a way to support each other, to build community. They would be in these performance settings where you would see these like 16-year-olds in these audiences cheering on their peers up on stage. And then they would follow each other out. They would continue supporting each other. They would be on the sidewalk sharing poetry. They'd be seeking out all these other opportunities to share with each other. And those communities I've seen fosters, like many of these youth that I worked with who are now in their 30s, and this community has continued. And it's just a really beautiful example of how poetry can really support the community and offer so many more opportunities for youth that we don't necessarily see in traditional settings. So thank you again for the opportunity. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Soto. Next, we have Aiko Yamashiro.
Aloha to the Senate Committee on
Aloha.
Labor, Culture, and the Arts. Thanks for having us. So I'm the Executive Director of Hawaii Council for the Humanities, named in that resolution. And we are a local nonprofit dedicated to literature, history, philosophy, culture, all the humanities of our home, and how those things can enrich our lives, broaden our perspectives, and strengthen our communities. So I'm here to testify in strong support for this concurrent resolution and wanted to emphasize a few things from the written testimony. One, that the three statewide organizations, for the three of us to work together, I think is really exciting collaboration, because combined we have so much expertise and experience and love and commitment for the literary and poetic community of Hawaii. Experience in administering these kinds of programs, connection to really accessible, welcoming venues for community programs to take place. And we all have a mandate to serve the entire state and to think about to think about and strategize about how to bring in voices and perspectives that are maybe not being heard as easily. So that's point one. And then point two, I just wanted to, maybe we don't have that issue with this committee, but I wanted to take away some misconceptions about poetry. I think we can think that poetry is something hard to understand that rhymes, or something esoteric or elitist, or those who write poetry do so in an ivory tower and then bestow it upon the rest of us. And these are misconceptions that this resolution is about something very different, a different vision of poetry. It's the vision that Liz shared in her experience with spoken word, this vision of poetry, not about writing and sharing poetry as an individual, but doing it together, and how that strengthens communities. And so the testimony that I submitted gives examples of community projects for veterans, for elders, for youth, for families, for poetry in specific communities that help us connect to place and help us tackle really hard issues. And so I wanted to really clarify that when we say poetry in this resolution, this is what we're talking about. Poetry that helps us explore our voices and our memories and our gifts, that helps us practice being brave and honest with our words to other people, to say things that we really mean. Poetry, I think, reminds us to listen with our whole hearts and to be moved by each other. And so this is the civic and community building gift that poetry can bring. This is how a group of people moves from an I to a we, who feels connection and care for each other. And that's why it's so exciting that you folks are hearing this today. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Leimomi Khan. Oh, sorry. Okay. We also have 7 other testifiers who testified and who submitted testimony in support. Do we have any questions from members for the testifiers? If not, thank you, and we'll proceed to the next pair of resolutions, Senate Concurrent Resolution 118 and Senate Resolution 105. This is requesting that the Creative Resurgence Task Force continue to examine and determine measures and establish policies and programs to build and foster creativity and innovation through the arts, culture, and humanities in the state. From DBED, Mike McCartney or Georgia.
Hello,
Hello.
Georgia Skinner, Head of Creative Industries Division for the Department of Business, Economic Development and Tourism. Thank you for this measure. We solely support this Senate Concurrent Resolution 118 and SR 105 and the companions in the House to be able to continue the work of the Creative Resurgence Task Force in collaboration with all of our community and other leaders in the state. I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Skinner. We also have State Foundation on Culture and the Arts, Jonathan Johnson.
Chair Taniguchi and members, State Foundation stands on our testimony in support.
Thank you. Those are the 2 testifiers. Do we have any questions from members? If not, thank you. We'll proceed to the next pair of resolutions. This is a Senate Concurrent Resolution 147 and Senate Resolution 131, requesting that the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations to convene a 4-day work week task force to evaluate how more flexible work hours and a 4-day work week can be implemented for public employees in Hawaii. Testifiers, we have Department of Labor, Industrial Relations, Director Eustachio.
Good afternoon, Chair Taniguchi, members of the committee, Ann Eustachio, Director, Department of Labor. The department stands on its written testimony in opposition to these results, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe that's all of mine. We also have 2 testimonies, one from the HGEA and one from the United Public Workers, providing comments. Do you have any questions from members? If not, we'll proceed to the next set of resolutions. This is Senate Concurrent Resolution 179, Senate Resolution 172, designating March 10th as Inawita Atoll, Marshall Islands Liberation Day. We do not have any testimony at this time for this, so I will proceed to the next set of resolutions. This is Senate Concurrent Resolution 212 and Senate Resolution 205, requesting the governor to establish a Hawaii Commission on the United States semi-quincentennial by executive order. Again, we have no testimony on both of these resos. So I guess we will recess at this time and go into decision making in about a minute or so. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Committee on Labor, Culture, and the Arts. We heard a number of resolutions today. Today's March 28th. We are in decision making on these resolutions. having discussed some of them with the committee members who were initially present. We'll begin with Senate Concurrent Resolution 72. This is the sister state with Madeira. Chair's going to recommend we pass with amendments. We're going to clarify some background information regarding the archipelago of Madeira. Replace President of Autonomous Region of Madeira with President of the Regional Government of Madeira, and make other technical non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
We're voting on the chair's recommendation to pass SCR 72 with amendments. Chair Taniguchi.
Aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Chang.
Aye.
Senator Keoho Kalole. Senator Favela.
Aye.
So the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. We'll proceed to Senate Concurrent Resolution 83 and Senate Resolution 75. This is regarding the Hawaii State Poet Laureate. Chair is going to recommend we pass both resolutions as is. Any discussion? Not, Senator Ihara.
Members, we're taking a vote on both resolutions in one vote. And with all members present, any reservations or objections to the recommendation to pass SCR 83 and SR 75 unamended? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. We'll proceed to Senate Concurrent Resolution 118 and Senate Resolution 105. This is regarding the Creative Resurgence Task Force extension. Chair is going to recommend we pass with amendments. We'll replace the dissolution date for the task force to June 30th, 2023. Yeah, it's currently another year, so we'll give them to June 30th, 2023. And we'll also make technical non-substantive amendments for the purposes of clarity and consistency. Any discussion? If not, Senator Ihara.
Any reservations or objections to the chair's recommendation to pass SCR 118 and SR 105, both with amendments? Hearing none, the recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. We'll proceed to Senate Concurrent Resolution 147 and Senate Resolution 131. This is regarding the 4-day work week. We had primarily testimony in opposition, and so Chair is going to defer at this time, but I will speak with the sponsor of this resol and see if we need to work something out or if we can change some of that. But for now, defer. Proceed to Senate Concurrent Resolution 179 and Senate Resolution 172. This is the Anahuac Liberation Day. We did not receive any testimony. I've talked to the sponsor of both resolutions, and he requested that we defer for now, and he'll try to obtain more information and get it to us. And this is a LCA only referral, so we still have some time on this. So we will hopefully bring it back at a later date. Finally, Senate Concurrent Resolution 212 and Senate Resolution 205. This is on the United States semi-quincentennial. The contents of the resolution did not have as much detail as we would probably prefer. I will try to seek information from the House sponsor who asked me to introduce this on the Senate side and get more information. Apparently, the House concurrent resolution did not pass yet, and so we'll await that. And if we do bring this back, we'll set it up for another hearing. Okay. So with that, I believe that brings us to the end of our hearing today. Thank you very much, members. Recess.